What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Comic Lads. I'm Thomas.
I'm Merlin.
And today we're doing another tier list. We're going to be ranking every MCU film theatrically released. There's like 33 of these, bro.
33 movies spanning like almost 2 decades at this point. Going all the way back to phase 1 and now with like, whatever you're on, like phase 5?
Phase 5.
Looking at the list, I think we all know that the first half is going to be far superior compared to the second half.
That's for sure.
But this will also be a great opportunity to just talk about how derailed the MCU has become. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that. I think it's going to get a little spicy because we're huge MCU fans. We also feel slighted. I'm just going to come out and say it, betrayed.
No, Kevin Feige literally like stabbed us in the dick.
Yeah,
and
he
like
did, bro. He like bled us out from our nuts.
No, literally.
But before we get into it, guys, make sure to like, comment, share with your friends. It really helps us out.
Also, guys, question of the week. What is your favorite MCU movie and why? Is it a nostalgic reason? Is it just the action? Is it the story? Is it the characters? What is your favorite MCU movie and why? Let us know in the comments down below. Let's get a discussion going.
Let's get into it. We're starting off, dude, like, this is one of the best superhero movies of all time.
Iron Man 1 is the most rewatchable MCU movie.
Yes, I think it's a perfect movie.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
It is. It's just, well, I mean, yeah, where do you think it's going?
Going an S.
Of course.
Perfectly paced. It was the breakout emergence or resurgence of RDJ as Tony Stark.
My boy.
This movie is just so special to us, I think.
I think I've seen this like more than 40 times. It's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Since 2008.
The origin story is great.
The VFX are great. The acting is amazing.
The VFX are like better than what we currently.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it.
Yeah. Well, because they used to put him in like an
actual suit.
Kind of like suit and then CG over that.
But it's definitely S.
Yes, it is.
All right, S it is. Yes, S it is. On to the next one, The Incredible Hulk. It gets a bad rap, but I will say, if you're a kid, which I was at the point when I saw this, I enjoyed it way more than I currently do.
Yes.
Because it's just like, oh, monster fight, you know what I mean? Like, Edward Norton.
It's safe to say now, bro, so much better than Mark Ruffalo, in my opinion.
Well, that's also to do with the writing, too.
Damn.
It is.
Mark Ruffalo has been like caught with the writing in recent years. It's crazy.
Yeah, he was good at Avengers 1. The vibe is just off for this movie, I feel.
It kind of it's weird because when I think of the MCU, there's a kind of certain tone and style that all the movies have that make it feel connected.
Yeah.
But this one, aside from the RDJ cameo at the very end, it almost doesn't even feel like it belongs in this universe. Do you know what I mean?
I totally agree with you.
And I will say though, and this might just be reflecting on what Hulk has been like in current years.
Yeah.
But having an actual angry, badass Hulk,
it's really
like,
cool, man.
And like he's so shredded in the movie. I like really like.
Yeah, that's the one thing. He's so shredded and he looks dope. When he's Mark Ruffalo, he's like fat Jack.
Yeah.
You know?
He's like bulking.
He's like Joe Rogan jacked, you know?
But I like it in this one with like the muscle fibers.
Yeah, no, he looks like truly like a monster.
Yeah. Where's this going though?
I think it's a C. What do you think? I think this is a C.
It's between C or D, so let's throw in C.
C, and like I feel like other movies will eclipse it in the C tier. Oh
my god. Okay. Oh my god.
This is like my and your especially like guilty pleasure movie. We got Iron Man 2.
Bro,
this movie bangs.
I'm just gonna say it's not even a guilty pleasure for me.
It's really good.
It's just a pleasure. There's no guilt attached.
That's true. That is true. I feel no guilt in loving this movie.
I love this movie.
It's fucking great.
With like every fiber in my beat. I think this movie is the MCU movie that I've seen the most.
It might be like the funnest MCU movie.
It's so fun. It's perfect superhero blockbuster entertainment.
Introduces us to maybe like a top 5, if not top 3 MCU villain in Justin Hammer.
I don't get why people don't talk about this guy and like the MCU's best villains. He's so funny. He's so like pathetic. You know what I mean? Yeah. I like love it so much.
Incredible. Sam Rockwell does such a good job.
Turn to the right.
We all know it, and it's been used in so many clips before, but that, like, fight scene with War Machine and Iron Man versus the Hammer drones.
Oh my god, with the ex-wife?
Oh,
I'm gonna bust this bunker with the ex-wife.
The what?
I'm gonna bust his bunker with the ex-wife. That scene is just like perfection. If it was up to me,
This would be like top of S, but I think it's an A.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
I like love it, and in some ways I like it more than Iron Man 1.
Yeah.
But I know that it's objectively not as good of a movie.
Yes.
It would crack S for me, but let's throw in an A.
Okay, we'll throw it an A. Now we got Thor. This movie, I loved it when it first came out. When crazier and bigger MCU movies started coming out, I was like, Thor 1. With the newest slate of movies that we've gotten the last few years, bro, Thor is like kind of a shining gem when you like think back on Phase 1.
Yeah, and it's definitely the most faithful Thor adaptation out of the 3 movies that we have.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It has that kind of like Shakespearean dialogue. Asgard is like fully realized and like explored.
The Asgardian side characters aren't jokes to be killed off. They're actually characters with lines.
Yeah, and they're likable.
Yeah.
Everyone's like cool in this, like Sif. You got
The Volstagg, Fandral, and them. Heimdall.
yeah. Loki too. This is his breakout in the MCU.
Anthony Hopkins. Like,
Father.
I'm thinking like a B for this.
This is between B or C.
Yeah.
If we're talking about it as a number rating, it's like a 7.5 for me. It's enjoyable and I like it.
I think it's like a low B.
Okay, low B. Let's do that.
Put that there for now. I've seen people slander this next movie, like talk about it as if it's not as cool just because like the action sequences in the next 2 movies are cooler. Captain America: The First Avenger is a fucking perfect Captain America movie.
We watched it recently, I think a couple weeks ago. It would have been so easy to make like a Captain America modern day movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Set in like the present with him in New York, just waking up from his
Being frozen.
But I just love that they committed to the World War II aesthetic and setting. It fits so perfectly. And like my favorite part of this movie, big surprise, Steve Rogers. But even before he's Captain America, he's like
He's incredible.
He's like the most endearing, relatable loser.
Yeah.
I just love it.
Yeah.
It's so good and his heart is so pure. Like this movie gives me like hope for humanity. That sounds so stupid to
No,
say,
it
but
does.
you know what I mean?
It's like exactly what you'd want from like a modern Superman movie. It's so beautiful. It's such an incredible love story between him and Peggy, and it's so tragic. Fucking Sebastian Stan is amazing. They got Hugo Weaving as Red Skull. Like, what?
Yeah, this might be, for me at least, the best origin story MCU film.
I think it's an S.
It's an S.
I think it's
an S, yeah. It's
But
behind.
I think it's here. I think, yeah.
It, for me, bottom S, top of A. But like, I think lower S is perfect. Like,
Yeah.
this movie is fucking phenomenal.
I can't really think of anything from this movie that I dislike.
All right, next up we have, I think, the first MCU movie that cracked $1 billion.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Yeah, and that is The Avengers from 2012. When I was 12, I think this was like my favorite thing.
This was the best thing my eyes had ever laid eyes on.
Yeah, like I think I saw it in theaters when I was 12, like maybe 5 times at least. It was crazy.
The team dynamic is so good. I kind of like, Joss Whedon is like now, but I really like what he did by making the Avengers kind of, they're not really like friends, they're like co-workers that don't like each other.
Yeah, they butt heads at
Yeah,
first.
and it's really good stuff, man. And they'll have such good chemistry with each other. Nick Fury is amazing. I feel like this is the first movie where he really gets to shine too.
Yeah.
Sam Jackson.
And not just the heroes, but also having Loki come back from Thor 1 and being like the main villain that leads the assault on New York.
He was amazing.
I think this is the movie that got everyone to really fall in love with Loki and rank him as one of the top MCU villains.
Yeah, he's like probably number 2.
That being said, I don't know about you, that was back then. Now I can kind of see the cracks and the flaws in it since the excitement has died down over the last decade.
Yeah, I agree. I find on rewatch it kind of takes the movie a while to get going.
Yeah, definitely.
The action's still really good. Like
The
the whole
action
final
is
battle is fantastic still.
100%.
But getting to it, I don't want to call it a slog, but it feels like it drags a bit more.
For me, this is an A. And like, don't hate me, I would rank it behind Iron Man 2. Because Iron Man 2 still has the rewatchability.
I'm not pissed at that.
Yeah.
I'm not really pissed at that. And Iron Man 2 I think it has more of an endearing message at its center. whereas Avengers, it is a bit more popcorn. I think we could put it, we could put it back here.
Yeah,
I think that's fair. I don't like this movie. Iron Man 3,
No.
it's such a missed opportunity. It was like the culmination of a trilogy. It could have solidified it as like one of the best superhero trilogies of all time. Whose idea was this with like Ben Kingsley as a fake Mandarin and then doing Aldrich Killian? Yeah, everyone's favorite Iron Man villain, Aldrich Killian.
You're not him, the Mandarin, the real guy.
Where? Where's the Mandarin? Where is it?
Whoa, he's here. He's here?
My name's Trevor Slattery.
I remember back in the day watching like press tours with the director and RDJ.
Yeah.
And they were all like,
Oh, you know, in this one we wanted to explore who is Iron Man without the iron. We wanted to explore the man.
and it's like, I'm not watching this movie to see like Tony Stark purely without the Iron Man suit. He's barely in it.
I know, and that's also such a dumb lunch table way of looking at it. Like, oh, we have to really explore who Tony is as a man, we have to take away the main coolness factor.
Yeah.
No, the first two movies explored who he is as a man also. The suit is just a cool tool that allows him to be a hero. The first two movies are introspective, and to think that you need to take away his suit to make a movie about him is just stupid in my opinion, and it makes the movie lamer. He has one suit that is dog shit and doesn't work, and also makes no sense.
Yeah.
Telling me his faceplate has like fuel and shit to like fly across the continent. Get the fuck out of here. Like, we're superhero fans, but even that is just stupid. This is probably like a D, I'm gonna say.
This is a D, yeah.
Yeah.
This is our first D. Okay, the next one.
This might be our second D.
Yeah, let's just put it in D straight off the bat.
Yeah.
Because I don't have much to say about this movie other than the fact this is the MCU movie that I've seen the least of.
Yeah, I think
I've only seen it twice ever.
yeah, well, we're excluding like the new ones too. It's so forgettable, dude.
It's really forgettable. The villain, what's his name, Malekith?
Malekith, who is
Malekith.
cool in the comics, lame as hell in this movie.
I mean, the only thing this movie really did is introduce the ether or whatever, like the red reality stone. But besides that, I don't have much to even really say about it. Very average, below average.
Very
actually.
forgettable. Way too much Earth Jane Foster stuff. Like, I'm fast asleep for half of this movie. I think it's behind Iron Man 3.
Let's do it. Yeah.
I don't even know where to begin with this movie. This might be another, like, flawless MCU movie for me.
Yeah.
Captain America: The Winter Soldier. This movie just fucking bangs. Like, this might just be an S off the bat.
I think this was like the first kind of serious MCU movie.
Yeah.
And at the time, it felt so refreshing. I mean, it's still amazing now, even.
Agreed.
I love the kind of James Bond, like, spy thriller vibes to it. We all knew, obviously, that who the Winter Soldier was going into it. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're a comic book fan and you have any, like, basis of knowledge. But, like, even so, seeing that, like, back and forth and kind of tugging at Steve's heartstrings and not really coming to grips with the fact that he's fighting his former best friend.
Agreed.
Is just so good.
So awesome. And along with Civil War, has, like, some of the best superhero action I've ever seen in a big budget film.
Dude, the fight scene
On the
between
highway.
him and the Winter Soldier on the highway might be the single best, like, 1 minute of action in any movie.
It's so fucking stupid, bro. It's so
know.
good.
And it's so, like, badass, too.
Like, when they're playing around with the knife and just like...
Yeah, I feel like modern day superhero movies could take a page out of this one's book and kind of realize that good action doesn't just mean, like, big hits and big explosions. It's all those, like, tight
It's the choreography.
hand-to-hand choreography is so good in this movie. This is an S, right?
This is a fucking S.
I'm gonna say it's above First Avenger.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, we're just getting a lot of bangers right now.
But this is Guardians of the Galaxy 1. This was James Gunn's... James Gunn's. James Gunn? James Gunn.
James Gunn's.
James Gunn's. That feels weird. This was James Gunn's...
This was James Gunn's first MCU movie.
This was his first MCU movie. It was, I think, a bit of a palate cleanser at the time because
so.
we weren't just getting, like, the heroic, well-known characters anymore. We got a kind of band of misfits.
Yeah, and it felt so disconnected in a good way from all the Earth-based kind of political superhero threats that were happening. It was just like a crazy, in-your-face sci-fi explosion of just lore and characters. It was so cool.
But still, the heart of the story with Quill and the death of his mother was so grounded and human And like that final scene where they're all joining hands, you know, sharing the power of the Infinity Stone still brings a tear to my eye.
Oh, that shit is crazy with that incredible theme too. I wish I knew the composer, but oh my god, no, this movie still hits hard every single time. If it's not S, it's top of A.
This is an A. This is an A for sure.
I think it's here.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many are gonna get better than this one in A.
Yeah.
Because all right.
Yeah, this next one is the black sheep, I'm gonna say, of the Avengers movies.
100%.
It is Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
This movie, I think, was very underwhelming at the time because every MCU movie up until that point was more or less like an 8 and above, like absolute all bangers.
Agreed.
And this one was kind of like mediocre. However, I've rewatched it, and compared to the recent movies, it's actually fucking good.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. I have like two major complaints with this movie. My first is that I feel like the writing really takes a backseat to everything else. Watching this movie, you'd need to have like 10 extra arms to count all the fucking quips that they just toss at you, bro. Just from the first scene, it's just every line exchange.
We got incoming.
Yeah, incoming already came in.
I hate that.
Stupid. And my second big complaint is Ultron. I think he's so antithetical to what Ultron is like and how he should be portrayed and how scary and cool and emotionless and cold he normally is.
They gave him too much of a personality. You know what I mean? Like you said, he should be more cold, more calculated. He was just like, he was a goof.
Yeah, he was a fucking dad. He made dad jokes.
Yeah.
Nobody has to break anything.
Clearly, you've never made an omelet.
I'm also gonna say, I really did not care for the forced Hulk Black Widow love story. Oh, that was so weird, and the fact that it's like never touched again other than like a one-off flirtatious scene with them in Infinity War.
This is a C movie.
This is a C.
This is a C.
Yeah.
But it's
above.
It's above
Yeah.
Incredible Hulk for sure. I never expected in 2015 to watch an Ant-Man movie after an Avengers movie and like it more than the Avengers movie.
I know.
But Ant-Man 1 is kind of fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, even to this day, well, it's obviously better than Ant-Man 2 and 3.
Almost everything in this list will be.
But Ant-Man 1 is such a great origin story movie.
There's something more laid back about it that works in its favor. Like, it doesn't take itself too seriously.
When it feels smaller scale like it should, like the name suggests, you know?
And this is like one of those movies that, kind of like Iron Man 2, I can throw on in the background while I'm doing something and just kind of enjoy the back and forth with Paul Rudd and, you know, the different co-stars that he has.
Yeah. The one thing that it has kind of going against it, in my opinion, is maybe the worst, if not like a bottom 3 MCU villain in Darren Cross, bro.
Yeah.
Such a fucking pile of nothing. But it doesn't hinder the movie too much.
The action's really good too. I think this one had some very creative action for the time, especially with the sizing and like, you know, the fact that they have a whole showdown just on like a train track set.
Yeah,
so
it cuts
funny.
to just the trains like falling off.
Exactly.
Amazing. I think this is an A.
This is a B for me, personally.
Fuck.
I think it's better than Thor. I don't think it's better than the Avengers.
I think it's bottom A because I think it's on a different level than Thor 1.
Yeah.
Personally.
Let's do it.
Personally.
Okay. This next one, at the time, was my most anticipated movie ever. This is Captain America Civil War. I think a large part of the reason why I was so anticipated for it was the fact that the comic book was one of the first comic books I ever, like, destroyed as a kid.
Nice.
Destroyed as in, like, read it multiple times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, sticky pages and all that. The story was just so good, and I was so excited to see it on screen. And the fact that they built the rivalry between Cap and Tony for like multiple films before that, it didn't feel cheap. Everything felt earned and built toward.
It felt like it was all part of the plan. You know, like it did feel like it was part of the plan. When they fought each other, bro, when we were watching the trailer, we were like, oh, this looks sick. But when they're fighting at the end, I'm like, what's happening? This is fucked.
Yeah, it's heart-wrenching. My family was never too big into superhero movies, but I dragged them to this because I knew they would like it, just for the fact that the heart of its story makes it an actual, like, good film, not just movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and there's a real struggle that you can even relate to as an audience member, where you're like, fuck, I love both these guys. I don't know who I'm siding with right now.
Also, it had the introduction of Tom Holland's Spider-Man into the MCU.
And I'm gonna say something right now that I know you're gonna agree with. This is the best live-action on-screen Spider-Man we've ever gotten, and it's the best Tom Holland has ever been in the role.
The Russo brothers, who directed Winter Soldier 2,
They know how to do it.
they just know how to do it. They know how to balance characters' tones so well and write characters straight from the comics. Spider-Man was never the same in the rest of the MCU as he was in this movie.
He was always lamer than in this movie.
I know. He just had the perfect amount of, like, quippy jerkiness to him, but also awkward teen energy.
Yeah.
But, like, not the kind that John Watts, like, fucking shoved down your throat and, like, oh, Ferris Bueller! You know what I mean? Like, this one was just, it was just perfectly balanced.
Yeah, it was. Had the best Spider-Man action I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah.
In a movie.
And the best his suit has looked in the movies, with exception to the No Way Home final swing suit.
Yes. His suit looks the best in Civil War because he's fully CG'd. When he's not fully CG'd, Tom Holland's head is fucking massive. And it takes me out of every scene, bro.
No, this is an S.
Yeah.
This is another S.
Fuck me, dude.
Every single Cap movie is an S.
Is it in the back? Or is it better than First Avenger?
It's better than First Avenger, I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it's probably a better movie. I don't know if I personally enjoy it more than First Avenger, but I think it deserves to be here.
Yeah.
I think it deserves to be there. We've kind of like roller coastered in how we feel about this movie since it came out, I think. We're talking about Doctor Strange now, the first movie from 2016. At first, I wasn't too happy with it. I didn't feel like they went as Doctor Strange as I wanted. It wasn't as weird. It felt like a little too down to earth, if that makes sense, even though it's not really. But in recent years, and especially after watching its sequel, I really like this movie a lot.
And I like it too because it kind of used the same trope that Iron Man 1 had, which is, let's start off with a character that's a bit of an asshole.
A huge asshole.
Yeah, very egotistical, self-destructive tendencies, and make him go through a journey where he realizes he's a massive asshole and tries to better himself for it.
Yeah.
And for that reason, it had the same kind of heart as Iron Man 1 did for me. Where do we see this?
I'm thinking like a low A, top of B.
I'm gonna say this is top of B.
Top of B?
This is between B and C for me, so we can do B.
Okay, cool. Respect.
Okay, I think we got to our first truly, like, whack film in the list.
Yeah.
And I think kind of like how our hot take with Captain America First Avenger is an S, people are going to be triggered by the fact that this might be extremely low on the list.
It is extremely low on the list. There is really not a lot to like about this movie.
It kind of took the essence of Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and, like, amplified it tenfold.
It amplified and detracted the worst parts of it. Because, like, in the first movie, there's, like, the perfect amount of humor and levity, and it makes you fall in love with the characters, while there's also really dope, heavy, cool action. This movie, like, brought all the action and stakes to a minimum, dialed up the dog shit jokes to like a 20. Another one of the worst fucking MCU villains of all time in Ego.
Yeah, and I felt kind of weird the fact that Quill got, like, superpowers and then was like, I'm actually gonna be human and, like, kill you, and it just felt thematically all over the place.
Yeah.
It was loud, but to the point where it got obnoxious.
Agreed.
I don't like this movie.
Yeah.
This is a bottom D for me.
Yeah, I agree this is a bottom D. It used to be an F for me, but
Recent years.
we've hit a new low. So
Agreed.
it's not an F, but it's
Agreed.
down here for sure.
Next, we have Spider-Man Homecoming. I'm gonna say a little story. I am, like, such a fucking huge Spider-Man fan, where back in the day, I was so eager to see this movie completely fresh, like, not seeing any trailers, no promos for it, just going into it absolutely unknowing of anything that will happen.
Yeah.
And so I avoided everything.
Every single thing.
And he was testing my patience back in the day.
I was.
He was like, "Oh, you're sure you don't want to know who the villain is? It might come as a shock to you." You know what I mean? Like, so stupid.
I remember specifically, I was like, jokingly, because I was a shit disturber, I was like, oh, dude, Mysterio's in the movie. And you were like, what the fuck? And I was like, no, I'm just kidding, he's not in the movie, like, don't worry. And he was like, but dude, now I know he's not in it.
Yeah, because then it's process of elimination. And so in my head, I was like, okay, so who else could it be? But yeah, and then when we finally saw it, it was good at the time.
Yeah.
It wasn't worth avoiding every single promo for, though.
Absolutely not.
I will say it has one of the best MCU twists where Vulture is Liz Allen.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was like
Agreed.
a full-on jaw-dropping moment when we saw it in the theaters. And totally unexpected. They kept it really well kept.
Very cool kind of...
They kept it very well kept.
So there's-
The secret was very well kept.
Yes, it was. This was the start of us seeing like how little John Watts would do with Spider-Man and how much he would just force Peter Parker stuff down our throats.
Yeah, it was too teenager-y. Like, and I know that was exactly what they were going for, so they succeeded in that way. But kind of like I was joking before, like Ferris Bueller. Like, they even directly reference, like, scenes in that and recreate them with Spider-Man. You know what it was, though? It was actually the fact that it wasn't so much teenager-y. It's almost like they tried to do teenager-y, but, like, everyone acted like they were 12 instead.
Yeah, they acted like middle schoolers.
Yeah, like, everyone was too immature. Peter was too immature. And yes, I know that that's the theme of him growing up and becoming a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man by the end of the movie.
Yeah, but it almost feels as though we don't get a lot of him in Civil War, but it feels as though he's regressed since Civil War.
Yeah.
You know, he feels like less sure of himself, like he feels lamer.
This is a C.
I think it's a better movie than Age of Ultron. Personally, I think it's a better
Really?
I think it's a better movie.
I think it's right behind Age of Ultron. But we can put it above.
No, it's okay. I'll get you back for that after, though. Thor Ragnarok. I don't like this movie.
This movie is a rare movie that I've only encountered a few times in my life where each time I see it, I like it less. When I first saw it in theaters, I was like,
pretty awesome.
this is hilarious. This is so funny and quirky.
Yeah.
But I think just the fact that the MCU going forward based a lot of the blueprint of their future movies off of this one, it's kind of all felt tonally like the same, and now I hate it so much more and I resent it because of that.
I do feel like I'm the only person on Earth that really dislikes Cate Blanchett's Hela. I think she's the most nothing Saturday morning cartoon joke villain of all time. They don't even do anything cool with her freaking powers, which is like the one thing I would expect them to not take away. She just shoots green beams and stupid swords. I don't know. Completely misused Cate Blanchett's talents because she's incredible.
Yeah.
Usually.
I think for me, the best part of this movie is just like the Planet Hulk stuff.
Awesome.
Actually, this was the last appearance of the actual Hulk so far in the movies. Yeah, this is
a D.
This is a D. This is a top of D, I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
I think it's better than Iron Man 3.
I think so too.
I'm gonna get so canceled for my opinion on this movie, so just be warned.
Okay.
This is Black Panther,
Great.
2018.
Rest in peace to our boy, Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
Incredible. Perfect casting for him. We didn't even talk about him in Civil War. He's the fucking coolest character in that movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
His suit is so perfect in Civil War.
Yep, this movie is solid.
I think this movie is okay. I think it's good. I think it's very culturally significant, and I give it props for that.
I agree.
The CG is god-awful in some scenes. Like, that final scene between Black Panther and Killmonger is, like, so bad. It, like, the kind of mines of the Vibranium Mountain, it's like, oh, it looks so bad.
Yeah, it looks awful. I agree.
And, like, story-wise, I just think it's okay.
It's solid. I think every actor in it does a really good job with what they're given. My biggest complaint with it, besides, like, the CG, I think Black Panther kind of gets lost in the movie because every other character seems to have equal importance to him when he's the main character. And
and equal screen time.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you don't get enough Black Panther in it. Like, he doesn't do much of anything in the movie.
And I will say, Killmonger, Michael B. Jordan, kind of cringe.
People lump him up with, like, Thanos and, like, Loki as, like, one of the best MCU villains. I'm like, guys, like, let's be real here. He is so fucking cringe, it's scary.
Yeah, he's really cringe.
Burn it all!
Burn it all!
I'ma burn it all!
Burn it all!
Like, that's not who Killmonger is, bro. He's supposed to be, like, the coldest, most calculating, badass monster villain.
I know. And I remember back in the day on the press tours for it, Michael B. Jordan was like, oh, I took like a page out of Heath Ledger's book and I like locked myself in a room and I did like method acting, and it's like does not show anywhere.
Not at all,
like,
dude.
it's so fucking cringe. I'm sorry.
It's really cringe. I think this is a B movie. B for Black Panther. I think it's like a bottom B right now.
Okay, but bottom B.
Bottom B?
Yeah.
I think it's a better movie than this. I think it's a better movie. Oh, baby. Avengers Infinity War. This, like, I don't disagree with people when they say this is the best superhero movie of all time.
And I think we gotta give props to the Russo brothers. Oh, yeah. Once again, they bring out the best version of every possible character in this roster.
Yes, they do.
And everything feels so just balanced perfectly.
It does.
Like, there's no point in the story that kind of drops in pace where you're bored or things feel too rushed.
Oh, everything melds together perfectly. The action, the dialogue, the set pieces, the music in every scene, bro. Alan Silvestri, like, oh, disgusting.
Also,
What?
This movie is the best Thor has
Ever.
been.
Ever.
Like, this movie, if they had continued this trend with how Thor is in this movie, he would be like top 3 MCU characters for me.
Yep.
He is so cool in this with his new Axe 2 Stormbreaker, and the fact that it's fucking Groot's arm that he just chopped off to bring the 2 pieces of the axe together.
Dope as shit.
It's like it tickles all the fan service in me.
It does.
Like, in all the best ways.
It really does. And it builds Thor as this fucking, like, Kratos badass
He's so cool.
because he's lost everyone.
Nah, he's perfect in this movie. The only
He is.
gripe I might have is the fact that I really don't care for the Banner versus Hulk stuff. I
It's
think
dog shit.
It's so lame.
It's so lame. How cool would it have been to just fucking see Hulk get a rematch with him at the end? And if not in this, in Endgame at least, which they still don't do.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about that more when we get
Yeah,
to
we
that
are.
one, because
Yeah, we
that's a major cheese fumble.
Yes, it is.
And I like also in this movie how the Avengers are kind of split in two. Like, half of them are with the Guardians fighting Thanos, the other half are defending Wakanda.
Very cool.
And because of that, both sides end up losing.
Yeah,
You know
because
what I
they
mean?
don't. Yeah, that's
They're not
true.
together.
For
This is
sure.
an S.
This
Yeah.
is an S for sure. And look, man, we might have to put it on the top.
Above Iron Man?
I don't know, dude. Like, it's a fucking flawless movie.
I'm gonna fight for behind Iron Man. If it was up to me, I would even put it behind Captain America.
No.
Yeah, I would.
This is a better movie.
I think Captain America: Winter Soldier is a better movie, but this is
This is a good compromise. This is a good compromise.
Oh my God.
We're not
Oh
gonna
my God.
we're not gonna fight over this,
bro.
one.
Put this shit in fucking F. Ant-Man and the Wasp is the first F movie in the MCU.
1,000%. 1,000%.
It is so bad.
It's the most fucking boring nothing movie.
Oh my god. No, it's actually nothing. It's 2.5 hours of fucking nothing, dude.
Whenever I think, because this movie I've only seen twice, I think.
I haven't even seen it more than once.
Good for you.
It's-
I am envious of you.
It is so bad.
I just remember one sequence from this movie. It's like the only thing I really remember because I've tried to erase everything. Bro, it's Michelle Pfeiffer and the villain Ghost. Michelle Pfeiffer's talking to her and she goes, "I can feel your pain." And then Ghost goes, "It hurts."
Yeah.
I'm like,
Bro.
yeah, that's how I feel watching this movie.
I was really hoping with the inclusion of old Goliath, we'd get a fucking
A Goliath scene?
yeah, a flashback. Like, they just name drop him, he appears,
Oh my god.
and then nothing.
Yeah, and I remember being in the theater and being like, surely we're gonna get Goliath, and then I was like, there's only 30 minutes left.
Imagine, bro, imagine if we got like a flashback team up between Ant-Man and Goliath.
I would shit my pants.
We don't even see his costume.
Nope.
The fuck?
Oh man, we might have another F.
There, honestly, from this point on, there's a few different Fs.
Yeah, there are. We got Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel could have been one of the coolest fucking MCU movies of all time. Movie sucks.
And I think a large part of that is to do with Brie Larson, and she shot herself in both feet in the press tour for this movie, like telling like white males that they shouldn't go see it. It's like, buddy, that's your entire
that's the box office, bro.
that's everyone that likes the MCU movies, this fat white nerds. You know what I mean?
That's true.
And so Brie Larson really did not do. I think she's still recovering from the fumble that she made with that movie and how she kind of tainted her own character, essentially.
I think so too, because every appearance of hers after this one, she is more likable.
Yeah.
One of my biggest problems with this movie is kind of the same issue I have with Guardians 2 and like Ant-Man and the Wasp, where it's kind of nothing and it doesn't use the potential of how cool Captain Marvel is and her circle of characters. Like, it could have been it could have been like Guardians 1.
Yeah.
But it's all on Earth with Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Bro, Nick Fury's eye.
I know.
Get the
That
fuck
I
outta
was
here.
just about to reference that. They take cool things of the MCU and they make a joke out of it.
Yep.
And like we're saying for Thor Ragnarok, kind of starting the trend of
jokifying the MCU.
of jokifying the MCU. The fact that they made Nick Fury's eye into a joke. A cat scratches it, it becomes infected, and he loses it. Are you serious? And that cool scene in Winter Soldier where he's like, "Last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye."
Yeah, and then he's like, you need to keep both eyes open.
It's a cat.
It's a cat.
What
the fuck?
Oh, and also, by the way, he names the Avengers after her call sign. For sure, dude. Let's move on.
I hate it. It's an F.
It's an F.
It's above Ant-Man. I'm gonna
That's
say.
for sure. It's a considerably better movie than Ant-Man The Wasp, but it's still an F. We got Avengers Endgame, guys. It's just every nerd's wet dream.
I am so surprised and astonished that the Russo brothers in 3 hours were able to tie up 20 plus movies worth of storylines.
And it doesn't feel forced or cluttered.
I know.
It's just it's 3 hours of fucking payoff.
I know, everything comes full circle.
Yeah.
And it's almost like...
Except for Hulk.
Damn.
That's the one boil on, like, the otherwise perfect, like, healthy body of this movie, bro.
Agreed.
Because Hulk in this they somehow made him worse than in Infinity War.
This movie, like, shoves 2018 down your throat. You have people dabbing, you have Thor playing Fortnite. Like, come on, guys. That's the only thing I'm going to say whack about it.
Yeah.
But back to the overall characters kind of finding themselves and going through a complete character arc. Steve finally gets with Peggy.
Lifts the hammer.
Which
Is the coolest scene in anything ever.
bro, I remember seeing that in theater and like my nails were digging into it. I was like, as soon as I saw, I was like, bro, he's gonna lift it. And then he holds it up and they have that dun, 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 Captain America like theme music from the first Avenger.
Bro, this movie in theaters, it was like we were at a concert. Everyone was just howling.
No, everyone was screaming.
It was awesome. Like, I wish I could wipe my mind and go experience it again.
It might be the single best theatrical experience I've ever had.
100%.
It was so good.
No, it was fucking incredible. Dude, the portals, when they come back,
Yeah.
I was fucking losing.
Yeah, when Sam is like, hey, Cap, on your left. Oh, God. Are you fucking shitting me,
Come
bro?
on, dude.
I will say it's an S.
Yeah.
I think Infinity War technically is a better movie.
Yeah, for sure.
This movie's incredible. Like, they're so neck to neck.
Yeah.
If there were an actual number rating, I would say Infinity War is like a 10 and Endgame is like a 9.5.
Yeah, well, and it's just like, I also just think of them as one big movie.
Yeah.
You know?
It's kind of like Kill Bill 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think it's just, it might have to just go right here.
Yeah, let's do it.
I think that's fair.
100%.
We got Spider-Man Far From Home. I think it's solid.
At this point, I was getting very tired with the fact that the entire theme was just like,
Oh, I gotta not be so much like Mr. Stark. I gotta be my own.
like the last two appearances regresses into who he was at the beginning of the movie anyway, which is just so annoying. Like, I know that the overall theme of his trilogy was Spider-Man finding his own, but you can't do that as an individual arc for each of his solo movies and then say it all works as one big arc because no, it
he
doesn't.
goes through the same journey in every single one.
Yeah, the fact that he's like, oh, I gotta be my own person, and they blast AC/DC, kind of to like tug on your heartstrings and be like, oh, actually he is like Iron Man.
Oh, I love Led Zeppelin!
It feels like a conflict of themes. Is he or is he not Iron Man Jr.?
And you know what's so funny? I used to argue with people that would say he was Iron Man Jr. And I'd be like, no, he's not. Wait a minute. He's Iron Man Jr., dude.
Yeah, you used to argue with me about that.
I did used to argue with you about that. And he is Iron Man Jr. I've come around on it.
His suit is fire.
The Far From Home suit?
Yeah.
Awesome. I used the shit out of it in the video game.
I do like that Mysterio, Quentin Beck, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, he is kind of just a mustache twirling villain, which I like. And especially that fight scene where Spider-Man kind of fights against all these illusions and it's all dark around him and he's,
fantastic.
you know, really tapping into his spider sense was just, that was a really great
That for me, that kind of puts it a bit above Homecoming for me. But does that mean it's just right next to it, behind Age of Ultron?
I think it's above Age of Ultron, actually.
Do you think it's better than Age of Ultron?
Yeah. Oh, fuck, bro.
Guys, we have reached the post-COVID era of MCU movies. It's not really looking good from here on out.
We got Black Widow.
This movie's a nothing sandwich.
It's a nothing sandwich, and let's note some things that are red flags for the MCU going forward. Bad CGI.
Oh, yeah.
Lackluster writing. Underdeveloped characters.
Nothing villain.
Nothing villain. bad fight scenes, which is also a product of lack of good CGI.
You guys are gonna fumble the action in a Black Widow movie? It's like her whole thing is cool fighting.
And also the fact that it came out post Endgame but then takes place before Infinity War is just like, why didn't you guys make this movie like 8 years before this? This should have been a movie that like led into Civil War or something.
Yeah, or led into Infinity Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. My issue with Taskmaster is not the one that I've seen all over the internet where like, it's a woman. My issue with Taskmaster is that she doesn't speak and is in like 10 minutes of the movie. This is a D.
This is a D. I'm gonna say bottom D.
This is a... You think it's worse than Guardians 2?
This is worse than Guardians 2.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
This is a bottom D.
I'll take your word for it. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
We got a glimmer of light in the MCU darkness.
Yes.
Of phases 4 and 5.
This movie is awesome. My biggest complaint with it doesn't bother me as much as it bothers other people that I've seen. There's a lot of CG in the end that really doesn't need to be there. There does not need to be two big CG dragons or two big CG dragons.
The plus side, I'm gonna say the action of this, very, very good. It felt very Jackie Chan, like hand-to-hand combat, using the environment to the character's advantage. Funny enough, though, when they got into the final battle and it was mostly just like magic rings and like Kamehameha and Dragon Ball Z shit.
Which the rings are really cool, though.
They are cool, but I would have still liked just the like, heart of the action to have been like hand-to-hand, like close quarters.
I agree.
Small punches kind of thing.
Yeah, another huge strength of this movie is Tony Leung as Wenwu. He is fucking sensational.
He is. He's really good.
He's amazing. Like, probably a top 5 MCU villain for me personally.
Really?
I think he's amazing.
Crazy. Where are we putting this?
For me personally, every time I've watched this, I feel like it's an A. But I could put it in B if you're feeling so inclined.
I would say top of B for me.
Sure.
Yeah, I like it more than Doctor Strange.
I definitely like it more than Doctor Strange. We are going to disagree a lot about this next one.
Yeah.
But it's okay because I'm in the huge minority for this movie.
This is The Eternals by Chloe Zhao.
Mm-hmm.
I can't deny how great the cinematography is in this movie. I think, actually, cinematography-wise, it feels the most unique out of the entire MCU. And I think more directors should be doing this going forward. Let's bring back actual sets and locations instead of just fucking green screen rooms, please, for the love of God.
Yep.
I think kind of where the Russos were so good at balancing characters and screen time and pacing, Chloe Zhao kind of wasn't. Every character felt kind of underdeveloped to me. I felt especially Icarus's like sudden turn and like twist of like, oh, actually, he's the bad guy now. Was
that
kinda
felt
whack.
very, very like, what the fuck? Why?
Yeah, and then he just flies into the sun at the end. Oh, Icarus, you know what I mean? It's so funny, but like...
I didn't mind that. I enjoyed that, but I didn't like his turn. I will say, though, I think every actor in this movie does a fantastic job.
They definitely have personalities.
Yeah.
I think I would argue it's more just like a lack of individual arcs for each person. Like, it just felt like the story overall was underdeveloped.
Yeah, and it's like, there's 10 protagonists.
I mean, at least the Russos had the benefit of we're taking characters that were already previously established and led their own films. Chloe Zhao, you know, it's kind of an impossible task. Let's introduce 10 new characters and make them each unique in their own way.
It is very tough.
All things considered, I don't think this is a D or an F. For me, this is somewhere in C for me.
Because I really enjoy this movie. For me, it's like probably a B.
What do you think about right behind Age of Ultron?
I would very much appreciate that.
Okay, let's do that.
How do you like that?
I like it.
Okay.
Yeah, we are gonna trigger some people with this next one. Well, maybe not. I think, let's be fair with this.
Yes.
This is Spider-Man No Way Home. When I first saw this movie in theaters, I was like, oh, the MCU might actually be back on track.
I got spoiled literally every single thing.
Yeah. Right? It was hard to avoid. There was a ton of leaks.
Yeah.
A lot of them surrounding, surprise, surprise, the appearance of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Which, at the time, shiver me timbers, I was like shaking my boots seeing that on screen for the first time.
It was fucking crazy. It's not that good, though.
It's not that good. I think people dick ride it a little bit too much. I think it's good.
I think it's a good movie.
But I think when you rewatch it, and I've seen it at maybe about 5 times now.
You're just waiting for Toby and Andrew to come in.
Yeah, it's kind of all reliant on when are they gonna appear. And even like looking back on it, the first time I saw it in theaters,
I was just like, okay, come on, where are they?
where are they? I know they're gonna come. They're gonna come soon at some point. And like, once again, why is Tom Holland, Peter Parker going through the same arc? I like that they brought back the great power, great responsibility thing.
Yes.
Because that was sorely missing.
It was like, why the fuck was the MCU so allergic to mentioning Uncle Ben? Willem Dafoe is stellar as always. Alfred Molina was amazing too. All the returning villains were really fun. But yeah, you start to see kind of like the studio strings when you rewatch the movie. That's my biggest issue with it.
I agree. For me, this is somewhere in B.
Yes.
This might be top of B or right behind Shang-Chi, but I'm gonna say it's top of B.
Okay. Yeah, let's put it there. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. This movie sucks. This movie is awful.
This movie is so bad, and I'm just
It's heinous.
Let's bring up one quote which just perfectly summarizes how shite this movie is. It's the Book of Ashanti, a book of pure good.
Well, you guys knew of this magical book of pure good that gives the sorcerer whatever they need to defeat their enemy.
The fuck does that mean?
Dude, remember when America Chavez is fighting Scarlet Witch? America Chavez goes, ha, and then Scarlet Witch goes, This movie took maybe the best character in recent years in the MCU and turned her into like the Joker.
Yeah, and it's also kind of frustrating because if you saw WandaVision, she basically has to go through the same character arc twice. Of like, oh wait, I'm being a fuckhead, let me stop being a fuckhead. I can't believe they did that back to back. It's called Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
If you guys have seen Everything Everywhere All at Once, I feel like they do the multiverse so creatively. This one, it's like the most they could think of, oh, we've ended up in a universe where red light means go and green light means stop.
Look, bro, in
What?
one universe we're paint.
You barely scratched the surface. I thought Multiverse of Madness, especially with Sam Raimi attached, director of Evil Dead, and the Tobey Maguire fucking Raimi trilogy, was gonna do some crazy, heartfelt, bombastic, colorful movie, but it was just shite.
It's funny you mentioned Wanda's arc being repeated because this movie just fucking repeats Doctor Strange's arc from his first movie again. In the first movie, the Ancient One tells him, it's not about you. And that's his whole fucking arc because he thinks everything revolves around him. And then in this movie, Christine, who I don't know why she's in it again, has to tell him, oh, you always have to be holding the knife, Steven. And I'm like, no, he doesn't. He fucking learned that he isn't. Or that he doesn't. Another thing I want to talk about, dude. The Illuminati.
You know, seeing John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic might have been cool in the moment, but this is where the MCU kind of takes the idea of fan service and like runs with it to the point where it's kind of no longer fan service because everyone expects it and knows that it's coming.
Yeah.
And it's just like a beaten horse.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Unbelievable.
This is an F.
It's at the fucking bottom.
Yeah.
It's at the bottom. Disrespectful ass movie. And it's funny that I say disrespectful ass movie when we look at the next movie on the list.
Thor, Love and Thunder. How is this able to be released in its current state? The CGI, absolutely abysmal.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
The story,
Absolutely abysmal.
junky. A Taika Waititi, just basically like, it was a Taika Waititi party in all the wrong ways.
In all the wrong ways. And we've brought this up in another video. Taika, if you don't give a fuck about the comics, why do you give a fuck about making the movie? And I know it's because of the money.
It's the paycheck.
Of course it's the paycheck, but just make your own fucking movie, man. Why do you have to think this guy is stupid and then make a whole movie about that? As a Greek person, I was fucking offended. The MCU does such a good job of respecting and honoring and showcasing how beautiful every culture around the world is, with all their different characters that aren't just like white Americans. The first Greek character we get, he's like, I'm Greek, we have origin with goat. I'm like, fuck you, Taika. I hate you.
Yeah.
This movie is, for me, it's even worse.
It's worse. It's worse. And it's worse because there was so much like potential for Thor and seeing another movie. Like, I remember when they announced that Taika Waititi was doing a fourth movie, everyone was losing their minds.
I know.
It didn't deliver on any front.
No.
Absolutely no
There's
front.
so much that you could have done. There's Gore the God Butcher that you funnily enough, butchered.
Yeah.
There's Jane Thor that you butchered. There's Greek shit with Hercules and Zeus that you butchered. Anyways, next movie.
Yeah.
I'm pissed.
Okay, next we have Wakanda Forever. Promo for this, I was thinking, okay, the MCU, it looks like it's going for more serious tone. You know, it had the unfortunate task of having to kind of juggle Chadwick Boseman's passing and having Shuri take up the reins of the Black Panther.
Yeah.
Which I think it did in an okay way.
The pacing is really bad. Like,
so
5 things
slow.
happened in the movie and it's like 2:45. Angela Bassett's death. That felt really flat too. Like, there was just no reason for it. It felt like it like really needed to happen for the script, and it did.
Yeah.
Ironheart. Why is she in this movie?
Because they need to make a Disney Plus show.
Why, when Shuri goes into the afterlife, why does she not see, like, just a nice, static recreation of Chadwick Boseman? Doesn't have to have any words.
Yeah, just smiling at her.
Why the fuck does she see Killmonger?
This for me is like a top of D.
Yeah, I could put it even lower, to be honest.
Middle D?
Yeah, like maybe...
Yeah, let's put it there.
Alrighty.
Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. We have Ant-Man Quantumania next.
This is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my entire life.
This is the worst thing the MCU has ever done. This is bottom of F for me. It is so bad. MODOK, they fumbled the bag with MODOK.
It's like borderline unwatchable.
The kind of goofy family dynamics between Scott and his daughter feels like a bad Nickelodeon movie. Like, it feels like a Nickelodeon Saturday morning movie.
It feels like Spy Kids 4.
Yes! Like, with a slightly bigger budget, but somehow worse CGI. The humor's so bad.
Every actor is completely checked out. Jonathan Majors as Kang gets beaten by ants.
To have a new MCU overarching villain like Thanos, and to have him taken down by an army of ants is like... It blows my mind.
It boggles the mind, dude.
Okay, slight glimmer of hope here.
Huge glimmer of hope, but not really, because every reason that this movie is good is because of James Gunn. We're talking, of course, about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. In my opinion, another perfect movie.
For me, this is a really, really great movie. I think the fact that we finally got some fleshed out backstory with Rocket Raccoon.
It's the whole crux of the story.
It's so emotional. Like, it's
gut-wrenching.
It, like, made me fucking tear up when we watched it.
Yeah, somehow there's, like, 7 or 8 Guardians, and they each have an arc. Every character does exactly what you want them and need them to do.
And I like how the ending isn't necessarily, like, a perfect happy ending where Quill ends up with Gamora and all the Guardians are still together.
No, because that ship has sailed.
But it's happy for each person individually, even if it doesn't make them all happy together.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I think that's something that we hadn't seen in the MCU up until then. And I see this top of A or bottom of S.
I see this as, like, high S.
High S?
High S for me. So we could, like...
What about this? What do you think about this?
Yeah. I like that. I like that.
Okay, we're ending on a fucking wet fart of a movie. We're ending on The Marvels.
This is, yet again, another nothing sandwich.
This is an F.
It is, but I don't think it's as bad as the Fs that we've just recently put in the Fs.
I think it's right behind Multiverse of Madness.
You think it's worse than Multiverse?
Yes.
I don't.
You don't think so?
No, because even if this movie, like, is as nothing as Multiverse is, like, 20 times more offensive. I think this goes right above Multiverse.
Okay, we can put it.
I think it's less offensive, bro. It's just completely forgettable.
Yeah, it's just wild.
I like Iman Vellani as Kamala Khan, especially in her show, but it really just doesn't save the movie. Nick Fury just doubling down on his, like, cat bullshit. I just can't.
Big goof
I can't handle it, bro. There you have it, guys. That is our MCU movie tier list. We've ranked all of them. I think this is a respectable list.
I think it is. You guys have to let us know in the comments below what you think of this. Yeah. Are you on the same page with us? Do you agree with our S and our Fs? The MCU, as we can clearly see, has taken a fucking tragic turn in the last 5 years.
Just to where I think it's beyond saving in terms of, like, it will never ever reach the heights that it initially did.
Like, the first few phases all ended up in the S to B tier, and just going on forward from, like, the third phase, pretty much everything ended up either in C to F. We're gonna see what the future holds.
I'm not very optimistic. I'm just like, besides Deadpool and Wolverine, I don't really care right now for what's coming next.
Let us know, guys, in the comments below if you agree. Don't forget to answer our question of the week on what is your favorite MCU movie and why. Please subscribe. We do weekly videos. It really means a lot for everyone that sticks around and watches our videos and gives it a like and follows on our journey and becomes part of our journey as a fellow comic lad.
Fellow lad.
So yeah, guys, thank you for watching our video if you made it to the end. We love you all very, very much.
So much.
And we can't wait to see you guys on the next video.
Thanks for watching. We love you.
Peace, everyone.